I am stoked for everyone to be here. So, Chase has been working with us behind the scenes and working on this really cool new conversations feature. And essentially, I think the best way to kind of explain it is to share. So Marcus is another guy. He's recently been put on the beta program, and so he was testing it as well. And he launched an ad, and he shared on our insider group that in less than 24 hours, he got an appointment booked by Julie. Like from launching an ad to an appointment booked. That is pretty cool. And one of the things he shared, he said, what's so cool about this new Smart Julie is not just that it's helping with the responses, but it's helping teach him how to communicate with the people. And the reason for that is because we all know we need to communicate with the leads, but it's how do you communicate in a way that navigates them towards ultimately booking an appointment? That's kind of the key. And then the other story that Wendy shared yesterday, which I thought was really cool, she jumped on the mastermind and she shared that one of her agents on her team, she got a lead came in, and the lead was communicating, but the way the lead was communicating, it just came across super spammy. It just seemed super fake. It didn't seem real. But it turned out English was their second language. And so they were using ChatGPT to translate and then send the message back and forth. And now, fortunately, the agent continued the conversation and is now working with them as a $2 million buyer. So the key there is sometimes we'll get a message and we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, that's spammy. I'm going to move on to the next person because I'm going to go with someone real. But the nice thing about a system like what we're going to show you is that it does the job of working everybody, no matter what, towards ultimate goal of booking an appointment. So with that, I'm going to introduce. So we got Stephen and Chase, who's going to be leading this today. And Stephen is largely the architect behind a lot of this, and it's pretty cool. And so I'm very, very excited. So Steve, why don't you jump in and kind of share a little bit how the feature works, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thanks, John. Thanks for the intro. Who here, I just out of curiosity, and you can throw it in the chat too. I'm curious, I know quite a few of you are, but who's here using our current StreetText conversation feature? So you can send outbound text when the leads come in, and yeah, I see a bunch of hands being raised. Cool. You can throw it in the chat as well. I imagine some of you are not using it yet, but yeah, we've got a neat update for you for those that are using it. So, John, I'll let you accept people just as they're coming in. Randy, great to see that using it. Thanks, Lindsay. Good to see. Awesome, awesome. And because whenever we do these webinars, it's very like organic in the sense that just ask questions. So if you've got a question, you can throw it in the chat right now. We'll do a big Q&A section towards the end or as stuff comes up when we're transferring to Chase too. But if you've got questions, just throw them in the chat. It's nice to see all your faces, and so we'll get into it right away here. So as John was mentioning, when we built this feature, one of the things that our team StreetText has dealt with for a long time is so we've had texting now on our platform for I don't know how many years, but it's a lot. Like we've probably had texting. Let's say it's like 8 years in the platform. And over the years, we have logged into many accounts or StreetText accounts, and we have seen that you realtors, many of you have great conversations in there, but nobody's replied to them. So it's like maybe the texting sent out a message, the lead responded, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively, and either way, this is not really a response. Not to saying that's you, just saying that we've seen it. But I also realize why it happens. You're all busy. You're all out there doing things. Ideally, you need a mobile app. You need to be on the go. So what we did is, for some of you that are using Follow Up Boss, we had helped kind of smooth that out. So at least we get the messages to you there. But still, that wasn't quite enough. What if we could do something a little bit different where we could help answer those questions automatically? And so we have a feature that actually works in two different ways, which I'm excited to show you. So you actually have a process of reviewing and you have a process of auto sending. So we're going to get into that in a moment. But one of the things that we noticed as soon as we started releasing this feature out to our beta users and those that were testing is that one of the nice things about having AI in your text messages is sometimes a response comes in and it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. The lead response, it could be slightly negative or it could be slightly it's work for you guys. You got to go in, you got to come up with something nice to say but AI doesn't care. It has no emotions when it comes to the response. And it has unbelievable empathy when it creates its response, right? And so what we noticed is that a lot more text messages are getting responded to, which are ultimately turning into better conversations and booked appointments, thanks to the fact that AI is just doing a lot of the heavy work, even just like the mental work for you. So with that being said, we can jump in and I can show you a couple things. And yeah, again, feel free to ask questions. And we've got Chase on the call here as well, who's going to talk about some real
Well,
world
real,
examples.
real quick, the nice thing,
Yep.
as you know, is Julie handles rejection really, really well.
Yeah.
So takes the heartache off of you.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to take it personally, right? And who here can't? Like it's hard to not take it personally. So it is definitely handy for sure. All right. So first thing I want to point out when you're in your StreetText account, uh, and I'll just share my screen here really quick. And I would say you could do this afterwards, but I also want to show you, how to find it. If you're inside of your StreetText account and you scroll down, you're going to see this section called Conversations. For those of you that have texting enabled. So if you don't have the texting with StreetText yet, yeah, you can of course add that on. But for those of you that do have it on, it's right here. And so if you click on this feature, you have always had the ability to customize Julie's name. And the reason we call it Julie is it's sort of been our default go-to. It actually, when we did our initial testing, it was people respond to Julie really well. And so we've sort of kept it as Julie. And Julie is essentially your AI assistant sending messages on your behalf. Now, for some of you, you have changed this to your own name if you want to. That's totally fine. Maybe you've changed it to a real assistant that you have on your team, totally fine. And you can control all of that right here. And so at any point, you can, of course, change this, but this is the Julie feature as it's set up right now. What you'll notice below is you have this new feature called AI Smart Suggestions. And so there's two parts to how this works. The first thing that you can do, if you like, is you can actually turn on Enable AI Smart Suggestions. And what this will do is every single time a lead responds to you. So at this, it's not sending outbound, it's not starting the conversations for you automatically. Your automations are doing that, or if you have, say, automations that are firing, say, through a CRM or follow-up boss, for example, and you're sending out, your drip campaigns already to customers and they respond, as soon as that response comes in, our system will pick it up and it will create for you a suggestion. And it will then immediately, as long as you have your mobile phone number down here below, it'll actually send you a quick text message to review it. Now, Chase will bring up some real ones. I'm going to bring up just a silly one, which is just me going back and forth with a conversation. So you can largely ignore the thread. But what you'll notice here's an example of what it would look like is, and it's mobile friendly as well, as you can see the thread on the left-hand side, obviously the agent and the leads, back and forth. And then you can see the last conversation. So the lead said, I'm looking for an estimate on Holmes Valley, which is just me this morning getting this ready. And then you can preview what the AI has created for you. And then if you like it, and so this allows you to have that control. It's like a hybrid, right? So we do have an auto send in a moment that I'll share with you too. But this is a great hybrid. Maybe you just want to see how the AI works. Maybe you want to make some tweaks to it before you let it go wild on its own, or maybe you actually just want to keep it this way, and you even have an assistant that wants to review it. You can completely keep it in this format. But what it allows you to do is, if you're happy with it, and you're like, okay, that's pretty good, you can just click quick approve and send. However, if you don't like it, and you just want to make a small little change to it, let's say like we want to do a 10-minute call with Chase, you can now make that edit really quick, either on your phone or obviously on the computer, but it's mobile friendly. It shows up on your phone. You can just send an edited message. Or if you want, you can just straight up reject the message too. And just in addition to this, I'll just let you know there is this little feedback button, which we take very seriously. So if for some reason you see something in here you don't like and you want to pass some feedback to us, you can most certainly put that in here and send it. What we're doing behind the scenes too is, as these messages are getting sent, especially if you reject the message, for example, or you're sending an edit, our system is analyzing those edits and changes, and it's early days, but we're going to be applying that logic going forward to your account. And that way the system is going to get smarter and smarter and smarter at making sure that it's more tailored specifically to how you want to have conversations started. Like, for example, I've noticed that sometimes leads come through and they're renters. And depending on how you answer for a renter, the AI might be really friendly and offer a whole bunch of resources, and you might say, no, we don't have any of that available. And you can provide some feedback, or you can reject that message or change it. Our AI is then going to start adjusting that. So in the future conversations, it's not going to offer that in the future, as an example. So those are some of the things that are going behind the scenes. We're also measuring the sentiment of every message that's being sent back and forth. And so what this will do is over time, is it'll actually change how the AI starts conversations based on positive conversations that have come through the system. And so those are just some of the cool things that are going on behind the scenes, but I just wanted to point this out really quick so you can quick approve and send an edit message, or reject the message. Now, I know we got some questions coming in, but before I get to that, I just want to move on really quick to this, and then I'll jump back to that. When I go back to this now, again, so we've got this enable smart suggestions are kicking in. If you like how it's working and you feel confident, and again, you can turn this on and off at any time, you can turn on the auto approve and send suggestions. Now it's going to give you a little warning. It's going to let you know that, hey, this is in beta, and it is, in the sense that we are making changes to it. We're testing it. I highly recommend that you keep an eye on it yourself just to make sure that you're happy with how it's working. But if you're happy with that and you're like, yeah, this is good, I like how this is working, you can accept and continue. And now what will happen is when the message comes in, or from a lead, our system will create that response that you saw. But in this case, it's not going to ask you for approval. It is just going to go ahead and it's going to send that message to the lead. Now, we have some stuff built in to make sure that there's some time delays, it seems natural, etc. And you can, of course, play with this and see how it feels. If you don't like it, you can turn it off at any time. We have a number of updates coming to this. It's obviously an exciting new feature. So, feel free to play with it and yeah, make some adjustments. So now we have a few more features that I just want to quickly touch on, and then I can jump to some questions that we can jump into Chase here. What you have to make sure that you have, though, is this is your profile info, and this is connected to your profile section. So these are the same fields if you were adding them in your profile. You have to make sure that you have your name in place, your business name has to be there as well, and your phone number. And you want to make sure that you're using a mobile phone number. And the reason is that if you don't have your mobile phone number in here right now and you do the enable smart suggestions, you're not going to get notified on your phone when a lead has responded and you're quickly on the go and you want to approve that message and send it automatically. You're not going to have that ability. So just make sure that your phone number is in here as well. Also, I really recommend that you put in your website. Occasionally, and the AI does have this ability, again, we're always tweaking it, but it does have the ability to provide context on your website to the customer. So if you don't have this in here, it's not sure what to use, and it might accidentally use something incorrect. So definitely recommend putting that in. One of the other things that I want to point out here too that's really neat is obviously there's a lot going into the AI behind the scenes, but you have actually the ability to make some small changes to the prompting so far. And so one of the things that the AI is looking at right now is it has a primary goal. And the primary goal is to reconnect with inbound leads, build rapport, gather key information, and ultimately schedule a call. So you will notice, based on this, when you're using this feature, that it is always looking to book an appointment. Like, it's doing its best to try to get you on the phone. Now, you may have a different goal in mind. And so if you want to change this and test it, you most certainly can. I would recommend that if you are changing your goal, that you go back to your enable smart suggestions only and maybe turn this feature off so that you can just observe how the feature is using your goal and how it's communicating that effectively with the leads. But you do have that ability to modify this. And so this gives you some power in your hands. Maybe booking an appointment isn't super important to you, or maybe it is, or maybe you want to just change a little bit of the language around it. You most certainly can play with that and do that here. And if you need to, you can always go back to the default prompt again by clicking this button, and it'll bring that back for you as well. One of the other last things that we're adding in, which isn't yet fully available, for the AI, but I encourage you to put it in, and we'll send out a notice when we're using it, is the AI right now is essentially booking an appointment for you, or encouraging an appointment for you based on like an arbitrary calendar. But if you really wanted to use your actual integration, it doesn't have to be Calendly, for example. This is a use case. but it can read Calendly really well. So I'm sure a lot of you have it. You can actually put in your Calendly link here specifically to the calendar that you want to use. And it's going to have some context there and it can actually use that. Now, I had talked to Chase about this, for example, and Chase said, Steve, honestly, my schedule is all over the place. I'm more than happy just to have I'm both flexible enough and it's all over the place. I don't really want to lock myself down. I'm happy with how the AI is using it right now. So you don't have to use this. It's completely optional if you want to use it or not. Again, we're not actually technically applying it yet. It's coming, but that gives you some context there on how that works. So before I move on, maybe I will answer a couple quick questions. I know John Hickey, you have raised your hand, and I can take a look at the chat too. John, maybe if you want to just go ahead and
Yeah, going back to when you talked about the rejecting a message or editing a message, does that get applied variously so that some rejects might apply to just everybody on StreetText and others might be more singular to an individual customer, or is it too early on to make distinctions like that?
Yeah, it's a little too early on in that. Everything is going to be applied generally more or less to your account. But when you reject a message, we're not, we're the way I'm looking at it right now and our system. So, like, for example, if I go back to this, if you're not able to edit this easily and you just straight up don't like the message and you reject it, to me, that is an indication that we need to take a look at what was being sent, right? Like it just did not apply. And so I would encourage you, for your account where possible, if you're happy with the message, quick approve and send. It's a one click and off it goes to the lead. If you're able to make a slight edit to it, even that's obviously better. Lots of customers do that. I noticed that a lot. But when you do straight up reject it, then I'm like, oh, okay, well, something went wrong with that message. That's the way I look at it. And you're going to just start over or send something on your own entirely. So that's how I would use that reject feature or how we're using it. Don't worry if you use it and you're like, oh, actually, that wasn't a good message. We also are making sure that we have the context of why, as best as we can, of why it was rejected. We might even reach out to you if we need to. So don't panic if you apply it and you're thinking, oh, I don't want it. I don't want it to overly work on that. That's a work in progress, and we're going to make sure that we're using that cautiously. But I just wanted to give you that insight. Like to me, a reject is, it kind of went off the rails. It's a bit of a wrong message. It does not apply at all to my account. Essentially.
Okay, so I have one more question, and you might not be able to really deal with this either, but so I'm a Lofty user. Lofty has introduced a pretty comprehensive AI sort of advisor in their system as well. But this works on a different level. So what I'm wondering is, using Zapier, is it going to be possible, instead of sending all of the leads over to Lofty, to deal with them here in StreetText based on Julie and what have you, and then just put in a tag of some sort, and then when the tag goes in, Zapier sees it and sends it out to Lofty. Do you imagine something like that?
Oh yeah, I mean you can, and we even have, if I have time at the end, I'll show you. We have some other ways of connecting with tools like Lofty too now, and so I would absolutely, you can really design anything you like. Keep in mind with this feature, just like Lofty's, use whichever one you like and how it's working in your business use case. The nice thing about this feature is it's very easy to toggle on and off. So, if you turned all this off, hey, now, and you maybe got Lofty handling these conversations, it will work just as it did before. It will just pass that lead straight to Lofty and it'll respond there. Or if you're liking it here, then I would encourage you to turn it off on that side and then just turn it on here and use it on this side.
Well, the tools in Lofty are different so they have a pretty strong IDX set of tools that you can use as well, along with video and what have you. But this would help really narrow down the type of search that people are interested in doing before it even goes to Lofty. So that way you've got a more hands-on direct kind of
Yeah. This is also
continuity.
tied in really nicely, obviously, it has a lot of context of the ad that the lead came in on, as
Right.
well as the initial thread that was being
Right.
sent out to the lead. And so it has all of that. So it's using all of that when it's applying that message as well.
Right.
Going forward.
Thank you.
So I'll answer a couple questions from the chat. Maybe I'll actually get Chase, if you can read them out to me. But just before you do, if you're looking at those, one thing I wanted to point out too, though, because it's really important, is that the AI smart suggestions are going to work within your business hours. So if I click this link, for example, you're going to see here, and this has always been in place for your automations already, but some of you have maybe said it once or never really said or never really looked at it. Some of you, for example, have Sundays and Saturdays, or as an example, I've seen it where it's off, you're closed. Just keep in mind that if that's the case, we will then hold that response, right? Until your business hours open again. So keep an eye on this too in your account, just in case you're ever wondering, oh, why is my message didn't go out for a day? You might have your business hours set at a different time or closed or something. So just keep an eye on that as well. But Chase, any questions here that I can quickly respond to?
Yeah. I responded to Jackie real fast already, Jacqueline. How to use this for leads and FUB who are not in StreetText ads? Do you have drip campaigns? I mentioned that Elena Key has built out countless of them, and you can build out action plans in Follow Boss. With that reads the bracket thing. It's a different conversation here, but
what's nice about that though, Chase, is that this system will still work perfectly with that system. So if you have,
that's how I built mine.
Yeah, if you've got a whole bunch of stuff in FUB and big automations and maybe Alina Key or somebody set it up for you, as soon as that response comes in using through StreetText, boom, this system will kick in, which is really nice. So they actually work 100%. Hand in hand really nicely.
100%.
I would introduce you real quick just because I kind of went over that a little bit fast, I think, in the beginning. But if you don't know who Chase is an amazing agent in Orange County. It has a team, and they are standing out in a very competitive market. And Chase has done something really well, which is he has integrated some of the best tools and have designed it in such a way that it is really saving himself time. So he has connected Real Scout, Agent Fire, StreetText with FUB, and then is allowing himself the time and the space so he can spend his energy rather than handling the digital stuff. He's really spending it on the face-to-face connections and farming and canvassing and doing those things that is really helping leverage his time where it's best. And so I wanted to say that because this is really cool. When you see how Chase is using this inside of his tool suite, it gets really exciting. So anyways, I want to, so there's Chase for you. He is an incredible dude.
I'll buy you lunch tomorrow somehow. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean it's just been fun because it's just back to freeing up your time. And I mean I do run a small team, so it offloads a lot of the work off of them, off the agents, and we run a lot of ponds. So, or we have a lot of leads in our few ponds, I should say. And so being able to have this frees up all of my team agents who, for being honest, are not the greatest at jumping in right away and this and that because they're doing a million other things too. So this has been a great add-on. I'll show you some examples, obviously, in my system too. But back to the questions real fast. I know you want to get through those. Lindsay mentioned the pet peeve is the M dash in the middle. Steve, I've given you that feedback already. The dash with no spaces, that's an AI tell. So
I was actually just responding to her on that one too.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have some logic to remove it, and we are adding another process to even further vet all of our messages, and so we can make it even stricter going forward. But I agree with you.
Jackie mentioned is the adjustment to the AI messaging. I'm guessing, Jackie, that you're talking about if you edit a response, it will start to learn how you talk. Steve, that's going to be per agent, not global, correct?
That's correct. Well, there's two components. So one is a per agent basis, which is and it hasn't kicked in yet, Jackie. So just keep that in mind. We're using the data. So, but everything that you reject or edit or whatnot, it's saved, and then as it'll in the future, it's going to apply those individual changes. The global changes are when we then look overall what types of messages that were sent that have positive responses that ultimately ended into appointments or the things that you're most interested in, and what's common about those and how can we apply that going forward. So that you'll get by default no matter what. And then we also have some stuff coming in to just learn from your own individual account and some of the changes that you're putting in as well.
Excellent. I know Troy responded here, but Jenna said we're integrated with FUB and have StreetText automations turned off because FUB starts communicating with them immediately. Will you be working on applying the AI feature to integrations? I know Troy responded. Jenna, my take on that is, in my use case here, I would let Follow Up Boss run the emails. I know StreetText can do them, and a lot of folks use it that way. In my business, how integrated I am with Follow Up Boss, I would pull all the Follow Up Boss, have the Follow Up Boss handle the emails, but then I've also been able to build out the StreetText text drips in Follow Up Boss through the action plans too. And with the Julie, Smart Julie, you're calling it now, she handles the responses. So I would use Follow Up Boss, but leverage the texting out of StreetText, because in Follow Up Boss, if you know this, I'm sure you do, the first text message on a new lead that comes in can be automated. It's a preset message, but everything beyond that is manual. So this affords you the option to kind of automate some of that. Does that answer your question, Jenna?
Well, sort of. I don't know how it goes back into StreetText. Like, the one thing that obviously we love about FUB is having all communication on the dashboard right in front of us. So if StreetText AI is communicating with them, then it's not being recorded in the contact card in FUB.
That is, well, in a good way. That's bad. That's wrong.
Okay,
I'll
take
see.
it.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you go ahead.
We're just
and
gonna go.
Jenny, you just might
tactical
not
here.
have this feature turned on, but Chase will show you in a second.
Okay, awesome.
Can you enable my screen share, Steve? It's declined right now.
Yes.
Or John.
You betcha. I'm just looking for that right myself.
We're solving problems here.
Oh,
Very
there it is.
tactical.
Okay, you should be able to go ahead.
All right, very good. Okay, so first of all of mine, I'm going fast. Sorry, I got to slow down. Right, so under admin action plans, you can build out pre-scheduled text messages that go. I know you say, through StreetText. That's technically true because it's using their platform and their system to do it. But it starts in Follow Up Boss and also logs in Follow Up Boss too. So if I go into one of them, like all of these text messages, if my internet pulls up quickly enough, all of these are going to be sent through the StreetText system, but triggered by Follow Up Boss. So that's the first answer, and it's pulling in merge code, so it knows exactly what's talking to. You can set up times here if you want. You can send them immediately if you want to. There's a URL, Steve, you might want to drop in the chat, that has the bracket codes. Maybe Troy can find it, all the bracket options you can use. But this is how you would schedule out a sequence. So I've got plenty, and I could actually probably show you a more meaningful one. New buyer lead, that guy.
Yep.
So this is on a new StreetText lead, and this is essentially what we have preset out, and it goes for the better part of a year before it turns off and starts a different one. So again, that's the first answer to your question. The second answer is everything from StreetText is logged in Follow Up Boss. I can see it in my inbox. If I go into the leads record, I can go to text messages and I can see this little StreetText icon. Everything is logged back and forth inside Follow Up Boss.
Is that because you have the two-way integration, I guess?
Steve?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, and I can show you the integrations page in just a moment.
Yep.
Just show you what has
Yeah, I think I understand the disconnect, because there are people on our team that use FUB that are not using StreetText. So we don't have the two-way integration on because of all the leads that are not using it.
Got it.
But are you the team admin though?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll have to maybe dig in. I can dig into your concern maybe even afterwards, but we have a lot of admins that have that same structure, but then they still have the two-way integration. It just enables StreetText then if you want across your entire team when you have it. So then you could actually, and you can even route conversations back to the individual team that is associated with the lead, which I can show you in a minute, or to a specific inbox if you want as well.
So. Well, maybe, so we're not, I'm not personally hijacking this whole call. Maybe if we can set up another call, I want to be mindful of everybody else.
Yeah. There's lots, lots in there. And so maybe Chase, if you want, you could even show a couple conversations. I obviously have a whole bunch brought up as well that I can kind of toggle through, and then we can answer some more questions. But yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. So from a use case scenario, I kind of helped Steve or was involved with building this out. So I was very in the weeds on it for the first big chunk of it. And now I in my business, this is how I operate, obviously, but I've been able to kind of delegate most of it to my VAs. And the only time that I'll have to jump in is if they're unsure of the response or want to make sure that it's correct or whatever. But from a use case and my own experience, and I've not had an appointment booked. Obviously, that's a phenomenal situation for Wendy and for Marcus, and we'll get there. But again, rough numbers, my assumptions from what I've seen is, if we get 10 responses, 8 of them are sent as is with no changes. One of them will tweak something kind of like Steve did, and then one of them will be like, oh geez, like, what happened here, kind of thing. And that's fine, because we're building it, learning it together. So, but that's how good it's gotten already. But what's funny is I was talking to Steve yesterday about this, and I'm like, hey, I might not have a live one to do or whatever, but I got like 6 responses before 10 in the morning. So anyways, I built this out this way because of my VA team. I've got 2 VAs one of them monitors this specifically. So the mobile number that Steve's talking about, make sure you have a number that they can text to get the responses. I'm using a Follow Up Boss inbox because my VAs can access it, as can I. So as Steve mentioned, what will happen is you'll see these responses come in every time someone responds. Now, I have not turned on the auto approve. I'm not going to get into why. It's just a limiting belief that I have that I'll work on. But I'm just going to show you guys a few of these, and it handles rejection really well. So we're sending quite a few messages out to kind of engage cold leads right now. And I'm using the Smart Julie, and even Julie in general. I've built it to where it's not really supposed to, and if it does, it's an issue that I've not fixed. It's talking to new leads, it's talking to old leads, cold leads, nurture, not ready yet, I want to rent. It should not be, and again, if it does, it's my fault. It's not talking to clients, A's, B's, people in my farm, my sphere of influence. I have excluded those from who's going to get these messages in the first place. So it's very much the kind of the conversation machine behind the bigger portion of my database, if that makes sense. But let me just jump in here and I've not seen all these yet. So this is a initial lead response. I can see my VA has been handling this a little bit, which is great. Not this time. Thanks for letting me know, Ron. If anything changes or you have a quick question about the market, feel free to reach out. Have a great day. And the response, this is one of the ones that I don't like, Steve. So we'll talk about this. But when it gets a thumbs up response, like it's already tried that last ditch effort, right? Hey, not looking. Thanks for letting me know. And Steve, just listen. If it responds to this message with anything, it will go right back to like going for the kill. So this one I wouldn't approve, obviously, because he just said like yesterday night, not ready yet, right? So we'll work on that. The other ones are good. So this was Steve's. We saw this one already. We're going to work on getting that fixed. There you go, Steve. So he just got that message. And by the way, back to, I think it was Jenna. Let me show you.
I just got a text right now.
Show you. Okay. And this is not you. Where is you, Steve?
No, I think I'm a hidden
lead. Oh, you know what?
Lead.
You're not.
No,
you're a hidden lead.
I'm a hidden lead on your
account. Logged. So let me do one. I'll do one that shows live. That was Steve. Okay, here we go. So hi Silver, this is a new lead that just came in. She was coming in on a upsize ad, right? If you're familiar with StreetText, that's one of the ads that we run all the time. Okay, looking to move within 3 months. Hello, right? So the response we've got, please let me know which part of county you're focusing on, and are you already working with another agent? If not, Chase has a few minutes tomorrow to walk through some options. Great. I would change that myself to what have you seen so far that has sparked your interest? Okay, good with me. I'm going to send it. And this is our buddy Silver. So if I go back to Follow Up Boss, Jenna, Silver, where's Silver? Where's Silver? He might have already gotten closed over here. Silver de la Luz. If I go into Follow Up Boss, the response has already been logged in Follow Up Boss. Okay, so that kind of goes back to your question initially. How does that happen? My agent's already called her. Great. She claimed her. He's a renter, but we have drip sequences that go for like 3 years to educate them on a long-term plan to buy. So that's kind of what happens there. That was that one. Sandra, so again, Julie handles rejection very well, right? Do you have any plans of real estate? No. Do you want a market update or check back next year? Please leave me alone, right? So that's fine. I'm not going to chase them. I've got too many leads to deal with. I'm not going to be chasing people that say no 6 different times. Okay, this one says, great. Would you like an update, quarterly update on home values in the neighborhood, or should something check back next year? Sure. Great. So a brief home value update for you. Is email best, or would you prefer a text? Perfect. Right. Last one that's a real example. Would you like me to remove your number from our list? No problem. Great. Have a good day. So again, rejection is easy, right? But we got a couple responses in the morning only because we've been sending out quite a few. We've also got all the ads running in real time. But as you could see, even in that example, we just approved 5 messages. I think one of them, well, the first one was bad. We talked about that already. And the other 3, I think I changed 2 words on one of them because she was asking about dealing with an agent, and I don't like that right off the top. So that was the quick edit. But in my business, my VA would have handled all 5 of those without even asking me. So that gets me back into higher value activities. And for me, like John mentioned, farming, door knocking, face-to-face, open house, managing the team, those sorts of things. So it's been really, really great. And yeah.
And are you doing this all on the desktop or from your cell phone?
Both, but what specifically?
Well, I'm just thinking about when you're toggling between FUB and StreetText, right? And approving those messages, like you're doing that on your cell phone?
So I can show you how that works. Give me 1 sec. If you guys don't know, there's a new feature on, I think it's iOS 15 or 37 or whatever the heck one we're on, where you can actually mirror your phone to your computer. And it's pretty sweet. If I can actually open my phone, let's see. I'm going to share, lock your phone to connect. There it goes.
Hey, Chase, is it safe to assume that you're remarketing to those leads as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everyone in any of my systems is getting remarketed the heck out of. So here's my follow boss, right? Here are the StreetText inbound responses, right? Look at that. She just said, leave me alone. Move your list. Thanks, you've been great. So what I might do is throw out a flyer, and I'm not sure what Julie's going to say. Be curious to see what she says in about 35 seconds from now.
I'm actually pretty curious now too, because normally that would be a no and no, but I'm wondering. She'll try to turn the conversation.
Here, my version is, hey Sandra, you last message, I promise. Just want to ask you, do you have any friends or family that might be looking to buy or sell in the next 12 months? That's it. She says no. Good night. Anyways, but again, since I've built mine all in Follow-Up Boss, Jenna, I've got them in my marketing inbox. So all of those approve the messages, if you will, all come in here. I've got that phone number that they come from saved as StreetText in my Follow-Up Boss system. So all of those approval messages are all right here. And I think that is going to be the one. So here's the mobile version, by the way. Yeah, you've been great. So not bad, by the way. Welcome, Sandra. I'll just do this on my, oh, you know what? Can I not type on my, oh, I can. Last question.
Going for one more. Live. Everybody's pausing for suspense.
You're welcome, Sandra. Last question. I promise. Do you happen to know any friend? Wow. What am I gonna say? All right. What the heck? So anyways, did that answer your question? That's the mobile version of it. Very, very quick. And again, you can see exactly the mobile friendly like Steve was talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Chase, for showing that.
Oh, shoot, I was muted. I'm sorry.
No, you did. That was awesome.
All right, great. Question. Oh, Ryan's got his hand up. What's up, Ryan?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for doing this as always. When we deploy this as team leaders, admins, a texting strategy, the toggling switches for StreetText for Julie, whether it's autoresponder, once we have it all configured at the admin level, do we then have the ability to deploy it for every team member? Does it deploy it for every team member by default? Can you pick and choose? How does all that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So StreetText, the way it's set up right now is you provision technically one number that you would have for your account, which is then connected to everything. And I'm just going to bring up my screen here. I'll just show you how it works here. The way we've got it set up is that if I went to say integrations here, so I'm in my settings, if I go to integrations and you connect to say follow-up boss, you have this is what you have the option to do. So for example, so as long as you have this inbox sync set up, this is going to make sure that all the conversations show up like you saw in Chase's FUB account. So everything's there. You then have the ability to auto assign those conversations to agents. So for example, when a response, like let's say, and you've got an automation running in FUB and it's assigned to your agent Joe, and our system responds, our system can actually read that Joe is assigned to that. And so instead of using Chase's name in this example, it would say, hey, Joe has a few minutes tomorrow to talk to you, which is nice because it's reading all of that from FUB. But then what it will do is when the lead responds, and this can then be assigned to Joe's inbox, right? So then Joe can actually see this message and respond to himself. If you would prefer that it works, goes to an inbox that maybe your ISAs look at, or I think that's what Chase does as well, I believe. But then you can, if you select an inbox, this feature is just coming out, so ignore it slightly. You might not even see it in your account. It's literally coming out this week. But it'll actually turn off the team option, and then you can select an inbox essentially for that. This feature also has to be on for all this to work. Essentially, all this really means is that you can then use StreetText with inside of follow-up boss. So sorry for any confusion there, but these just have to be on for all this to work. So does that answer your question, Ryan?
Yeah, I believe. Well, I guess so. It's either on for everybody or it's off for everybody.
Yeah, and then that's right. And then it just depends on which leads you have that you can obviously like as Chase said, he's only using this on new StreetText leads that are coming in, or he is running automations to maybe a specific segment of his database inside of Follow Boss that is then using the StreetText number as the outbound, so that when a response comes in, then it's routing. So those are the options that you still have in terms of it's enabled for everybody, but you have granular options of who's going to outbound.
Hey, Ryan, since these are all outbound messages, right? Outbound to start or responses from inbound. They wouldn't get an inbound. Like if you want, say, for example, Steve's on your team and you don't want Steve to have this, right? He would never get a response because there's nothing going out. But you can, in your automations or your lead flow or your lead routing in Follow-Up Boss, you can build out exclusions, right? So, hey, if a new lead comes in and they are tagged with zip code 90808, exclude Steve as an agent, right? And then the next step is to send the action plan. You can do it that way. It's a little extra step, but you can preclude certain agents from being involved in these drip sequences if you want to.
Yeah, in fact, my interest wasn't so much in turning it off. It was mostly from the deployment perspective. I didn't want to have to deploy, for 10 different agents, the same 10 setups.
Sure.
So that's the good part. And then changing the stage or creating a deal or something like that stops the texting altogether because we're now in conversation, appointment set, whatever you have. So cool. Thank you. I think my question's answered.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then I saw one comment here in pricing. So just to share this too is all of you should be that already have StreetText that you're using for our texting side. You'll be happy to know we're not charging any extra for this feature. So it's just coming baked in, built into your product. So you have the option to use it or of course not use it. But I'm sure many of you will. It's a pretty powerful feature and will save you a bunch of time. Our texting does have limits though. So, we have that 1,000 limit. If you go over, it's going to use the overage, your 10 cents a message overage cost. So keep that in mind. You will also have a meter in your account either this week or early next week, just so you can keep track of that. You can see that inside of your account yourself. And then if you don't want any overage fees for any reason, then you can, of course, turn off your automations that are going outbound or shrink down how many people you're going outbound if you're getting closer to your limit. But I would also say that if you're out and about and you're busy and you get a text response and our system's generating a response for you and you got to pay 10 cents to send it out, it's probably not that much money either to have it go out for you. So you can use it at your own option if you're going over, but you'll have that ability to at least see where you're at within the month as well.
Half the price of EDDM these days.
But yeah, other than that, it's built in, so no extra fees. And of course, StreetText can be used either. It's obviously cheaper if you add it onto our lead gen products, but some of our customers just use it just with Follow Up Boss, and that's the only product they use. And it's built in on that side as well for you.
I think I didn't know Leon was here. I'm guessing the question was from Leon about the remarketing. That sounded like you, was it not?
It was Leon.
It was Leon. Okay. Good to see you, first of all.
Yeah,
Number two.
It was me.
And he's what's it called? He's a guy in the witness, whatever it's called. I forget the term. I'm blanking right now. But that was a great question, because this is all part of just the omnipresent marketing, right? You have your Facebook leads. Maybe you're doing some Google PPC, or maybe you're doing LSA on Google. Maybe you're farming like I am, or holding open houses, and you're emailing, and you're farming, and you're direct mailing. If in your phone calling, you have to hit them on all these different avenues, because we know that everyone communicates differently. And if they want to email you, if they email you back, email them back, right? If they want to talk on the phone and they're, in their late 60s, they're probably not going to want to text, right? But if they're under 50, whatever the demographics are, they're going to want to text you, not answer the phone. Oh my God, who's calling me? I'm going to talk to them. Right? So you got to hit them on all these avenues. And then the remarketing play, like Leon mentioned, is that extra push that's just going on to everybody all the time if you built it out that way. But, it's the flip side of, when you talk about, listing presentations and talking to sellers about exposure, and hey, Mr. Seller, the only way to maximize the price for your house is to maximize the exposure to your house. Only way to do that is make sure that we leave no stone unturned in our marketing and go through all these efforts and all these things that most agents don't do, because they're going to put a sign up and hope and pray for it to sell. We post here and do that and this and that and everything. It's the same thing for your own marketing in your own business, because you have to be out there for people to see you, respond to you, talk to you, build trust, earn the rapport, earn the relationship. I've said this on a call last week. We're owed nothing, right? We're owed nothing, right? Lead comes in, they have zero, they have no clue who you are. They have no reason to talk to you, except maybe a IDX link that you gave them. Great. But how do we take that to the next level and then earn the opportunity to have them answer the phone, right? How do we earn the opportunity to get a buyer consultation, or show them a house, or talk to them about their plans? So you have to meet them where they're at and keep the conversation going and drive and lead with value. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that was well said. That's a really good point. They owe you nothing coming in, and that's also why I think AI has just such a great way, if you do get a response coming in, of just being very positive, right? With any response that comes in.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Okay.
Our gal Sandra just responded. Let's see.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Did it already come in? It's 10:50. All right. Let's see. She's gonna say pound sand. Watch this.
No. Oh, wow. It was worth the ask.
All right. There we go. Last one. She's out of here.
It was
right. By the way, from a strategy standpoint, to Leon's point, I'm not going to delete her. Right? Not going to delete her. I'm going to either put her in the trash, or I'm going to put her in nurture, whatever makes sense for business. She's in a long-term pond that we have. I've got no messaging going out to her. Action plans are off. However, she's still getting emails from Real Scout, right? She'll get a periodic email from our, depending on the smart list that she's in or the group that she's in. But pre-marketing is going to go 24/7. 365, right? And because she opted out to Julie's messages, she didn't opt out from my agent calling her. She also didn't opt out to texting her manually through Follow Up Boss. She hasn't unsubscribed to my emails, and she hasn't deactivated Real Scout. So she said, hey, this person and this phone number, I don't want to hear from you. Email, IDX, phone call, manual text, Facebook message, you can go find her on Facebook, right? So there's opportunity in there, but you can't give up on the first no.
Well, and the nice thing about the remarketing too, I mean, obviously you do a combination is like some of it's just value. So she's always going to be seeing your brand. You never know when she might pick up the phone. And the second part is some of your remarketing also has automations built in. And so she might click on that, get something, and lo and behold, she's back in your loop again.
100%.
So everybody, if you're using Conversations right now, Steve messaged in the chat. If you didn't see this, it is already live in your account, and it's not going to cost you any extra. So this is something new to go play with and try. You can go in there, turn on the auto suggestions to start, which is what Chase is doing. That's probably the best way. You can learn it, help train it a little bit, see how it's communicating to people. And then if you're ready and you feel comfortable, like Marcus did, you can turn it on and then wake up to a full conversation and an appointment booked, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
So the question, let me ask you a question. Does StreetText already have a class you can sign up for this? Or is this just initial rollout with the class coming?
Yeah, this is that first class. Yeah, we probably will have to do some more. But I mean, if you join our office hours or any of our other stuff, I mean, of course, we can talk about it. I'm sure it'll be covered in our masterminds, the next little bit as well. But no class yet. And Jackie, it looks like you have one more question about the calendar. Feel free to ask. You still got us.
I did put the question, and I just wanted to know if the calendar connected, if you could connect Follow Up Boss calendar, and does it add it in, or do we have to go and add it in? I mean, it's not a problem either way, but I just wanted to know so that I'm on top of it.
Yeah, great question. So in the conversation settings, you would still have to put in the calendar that you want to use, so you'd have to add it in. I had mentioned briefly at the beginning of the webinar, it's our newest add-on and it's not being implemented. So we'll let you know when it is using the calendar. But if you wanted to add it in now, it's there for you when we start doing that testing with it. Yeah, you can use any calendar, including the FUBs one when it goes live.
Let me jump in there though. I mean, the answer is yes and no. You have to have a public view link to it to be able to schedule something on it. Calendly is the Kleenex of calendar scheduling tools, right? Which is it's $15 a month or whatever. You can build like booking options, 10-minute call, in-person showing, whatever it is. That's a monthly subscription. Best pro tip, the one that I use is called TidyCal, TIDYCAL.com. It is a one-time purchase of I think $29, and you have it for like
that.
Yeah. So you would use that, and then you would have it linked to whatever calendar or calendars you want to read the calendar events from. And the lead would have to click on it, schedule it themselves. It's not gonna. It can't book it automatically.
Yeah.
Not at this stage.
All right. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Yep. That was a much better answer, Chase. Thanks for that. All right. Okay. I don't see any other questions. You're still here, so thanks so much for your wonderful time today. Excited to see you all use the feature. If you get some great success stories early on or got any questions, definitely put it in the StreetText Insider group. We'd love to hear from you and see how you're using it. And yeah, other than that, you can always join some classes if you got some more questions on it, and enjoy the feature and the rest of your day. Have a great day, everyone.
See you guys.